Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time at the book club. So first time this year, we took a break at the end of last year. December 17th was our last time here. And we took a break for the Christmas and the New Year. And today we're back here. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time at the book club. So I do have an echo. First time this year. Yeah. So great to be back. Great to be back. Happy New Year to you all. So glad to have you here. I'm trusting God this is gonna be your best year to date, right? Your best year to date. And that's what we're gonna do here. Every single time we're gonna have together here will be to help one another do life together so that we can get the optimum out of life. We can learn from our history, and to live today and prepare for tomorrow. Right. That's why we do this. It's not just for the sake of doing it. It's not just to check the box. It's just to do life together. I get to share from my life. Hopefully, I can have your share from your life, and together we can do better. I see King's daughter way back. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for joining. I hope you do enjoy it. I hope you get blessed. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. You know, so what we've been doing on the book club is we've been doing a study through this book, The Good Life. This is a book that was released January of last year. It's a compilation of the study of that's been done at the Harvard School for Adult Development. They've been doing this for more than 85 years, studying real life scenario of people, looking at their life through the different stages, just to understand what it takes to live a quality life, a good life that is long and is enjoyable, is well seasoned. So they're looking for longevity and also width of life so that you can get the best out of life. That's what they were doing in doing the study. So the book is pretty much just a compilation of the results that they found. And pretty much a summary is that what it takes to live a quality life is the relationships you have in your life. Is the number of quality relations, is the number of relationship in the different areas of your life and the quality of those relationships. So that's what we've been looking at ever since, looking at how to create the right relationships in our life, and call that social fitness. Our ability to create and sustain relationship is called social fitness. We're talking about social fitness. We're presently in chapter 6 of the book, and the title is talking about facing the music, facing life. A lot of us have a tendency to want to avoid life. Having gone through life, the default setting is to want to avoid pain, right? But, there are two things pretty much that easily motivate us in life of their own accord is pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. When we do nothing, when we're just in the reactive mode, two things that will motivate us, pleasure and pain, right? The things we gravitate towards are the things that give us pleasure. The things we kind of run away from are the things that give us pain, right? So of their own, when we don't engage our mind, those two things are the motivation, natural motivation in our life. But sometimes the things that give us pain are the things that are meant to build us up and prepare us for the destiny that is before us. Sometimes the things that give us pleasure are the things that lead us that lead to a place that kills our destiny. They are the things that impoverish us. So it's not automatic that what is giving me pleasure will give me a reward, right? Nor is it automatic that what is giving me pain will take away from me. Sometimes the things that will hurt to me are painful at first. Sometimes the things that will take away from me are pleasurable at first, so it is not a given, as it were, for us to be at the mercy of those two motivators. We have to engage our mind. Not just our heart. We have to engage our mind. This thing that's giving me pleasure, is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? Should I have that pleasure now? What would that pleasure do to me? Would that pleasure add to me or take away from me? Right? This thing that's giving me pain now, is it worth it? Can I endure the pain and get a reward? Or is the pain for the sake of pain? Right? Those are things we need to engage and bring ourselves to. Right? And that's what we're discussing in chapter 6 here, facing the music of life, facing life the way life is. Another part is that a lot of us we live our life wishing, oh, I wish I was born in America. Oh, I wish I was born into a rich home. I wish I was born in the West. I wish I was born in the East. Yeah, and we have all those wishes. Wishing is a waste of time. Right? It's a waste of the present that you have, which is called today. Right? There's nothing, wishes won't get you anywhere. Wishes aren't horses. They aren't going to buy you anything. Wishing is not a currency, right? It's not a currency in life. Wishing is a gift of the devil to just captivate you, to make you just while away time, waste away time that you have, right? Life does not work by wishing. What you have, where you are, is all that you have. And it is your seed. It is your seed to get to wherever it is that you want to get to. You are not limited by your seed, but you must first of all accept your seed, because your seed is who you are today. Your seed is where you are today. And it is up to you to use that seed, not deny it. For as long as you're in denial of that seed, you are not going to grow. You are not going to move forward. You are not going to get better. For you to get better, you must accept the seed that you have, because that seed is what will take you, is what you are going to have to plant to get the forest, to get the mansion, to get the bigness that you want in your future. But it starts from receiving your today. Right? You have to accept where you are. You have to accept who you are. You have to accept your history, because your history is your seed. Your history is your seed. Your seed is not another person's history. Your history, the way you have been to, where you have come from, that is the seed for your tomorrow. That is the seed for your today. You cannot use any other thing but what and who you are. Right? And to do that, you have to face the music. You have to accept it and use it. You cannot use it until you accept it, right? And that's what we're trying to get, from chapter 6 here, talking about facing the music of life, right? Facing the music of life. All right. I could get to do all the time. I'm going to bring up my slide, because I do have a slide I prepared, pretty much dancing around the book, and we're going to talk from a slide. For those on Instagram Live, you're not going to see my slide, because Instagram Live is not built that way. For those on YouTube, Facebook, you're going to see the slide. But irrespective of where you see the slide or not, you're going to enjoy, you're going to get every single thing that you need to get from it. If you have any question, feel free. You can look me up. I am on YouTube. I am on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram Live. It's going to be loaded on the reel. Feel free to ask any question. Feel free to build on it. Feel free to add to the ideas and topic we're going to share this afternoon. Welcome. All right, I'm going to make up my slide here, and we're going to roll with this. All right, so I have my slides up here. Is our second take in chapter 6, right? Last week we 17th of December, before we took the Christmas and New Year break, we did an introduction into chapter 6. Today we're gonna continue from where we stopped. If you missed that part, you missed nothing. We're gonna go through everything that you might have missed from that. But pretty much that's the book. Those are the two authors. They lead the Center for Adult Development at Harvard. So this is real life. This is not theory. This is a compilation from the lives of people, right? Along with all the books to put together here. So today we're looking at the second time into chapter 6. We're not going to finish chapter 6 today. So we're going to come back next week, same time, and we're going to close out chapter 6. Then we'll go on to chapter 7 and until we finish the book. There are 10 chapters in the book. So this will take us up till about May, June to finish. We'll probably finish it about May, June. Then we'll think about the next book to go on to, right? So facing the music, that's a title. So we start with these two chords here, which we looked at also when we took the first part in the chapter, at least the first one. It says there's a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in. Last time I was also quoting the scripture. The Bible talks about the fact that God puts his treasure in 18 vessels, 18 vessels, right? We're weak, right? It's an out. We're human. As human, we have our limitations, right? Sometimes when we deny that, then we'll miss the beauty of our weakness. Because when we accept and know who we are, we're strong in certain areas, but generally as human beings, we're mortal beings, right? Sometimes because when things are working for us, we think we're immortal, we're God, and we then begin to overdo things. Pride gets in the way, ego gets in the way. We think we're gonna live forever. Sorry to tell you, you're not gonna live forever. Even if you live up to 120 years, you're gonna die one day. So whether things are going well for us or not, we need to always remember we're human, we're mortal, we have limited time here, and also we have weaknesses in our life, right? Whether things are going on well for us or not, right? So when we're cognizant of our weakness, then we're able to then defend ourselves against them. Obviously, yes, we need to be cognizant of our strengths also, when we can use our strengths to increase and better ourselves. But we must never forget that we have weaknesses also, right? And those weaknesses can make a mess of us, can make mincemeal of us if we take them for granted, That recognition of our weakness, is a place where then we can receive help. We can receive help, rather than trying to hide it. People don't know how funny they look when they're trying to behave as if they don't have weaknesses. You're trying to hide your plaster or hide your wound away and behave like someone that's never been wounded, someone that's never been broken, someone that's never been disappointed, someone that's never been failed before. You're lying. Every human has been failed before. Every human has missed it somewhere before, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It should not define you. It's just an event. It's not a person. Failure is not a person. It is an event. Something happened. It should not define you. You are you, irrespective of the journey of your life. You are who you call yourself to be, and you should be proud of yourself. You have missed it, so you're human, right? It's not to then sit on that. There's a whole lot more that the world has for you, right? Don't define yourself by your mistake. Don't define yourself also by your victory, right? Because there are bigger victories for you tomorrow. Don't limit yourself by what you have achieved. There's a whole lot more to conquer, right? Your father's compound is not the biggest. No matter how big your compound is, there are bigger compounds than you. You're a thousandaire, you can be a millionaire. If you're a millionaire, you can be a billionaire. If you're a billionaire, you can be a trillionaire, right? There's always a place called there that you can get to. Don't let your last success, defeat you, right? Rather, always be engaged, be mindful, be conscious, be aware, right? And keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. So the second quote there talks about there are two pillars of happiness. Obviously, love, like we said, love equates to pleasure, makes us happy, easy. If someone loves you, you're going to be happy, but that doesn't happen all the time. Even the people that you love sometimes disappoint you, Are you then going to stop being happy? No, there's another place of happiness whereby you can endure the temporary disappointments. temporary disappointments, going through the pain to get back, to the pleasure, right? Don't forget, like I started, there are two motivators, natural motivators, pain and pleasure, right? Neither of them is permanent. They're temporal. They're temporal. Pain is temporal. Pleasure is temporal. You should never allow either of them to defeat you, right? Because there's a pain does not mean that you should give up. Because there's a pleasure does not mean you should get into your head and make you go lose control. You use pain, you use pleasure. Never let them use you. You use pain, you use pleasure. Never let them use you. If they use you, you will fail. They will conquer you. If you use them, you'll triumph over them, and you'll be a victor every day of your life. Pain and pleasure are to be used. They're not to use you, right? Great. Let's move on. So pretty much love is a skill to be learned rather than just emotion to be felt. I love that. Ellen De Borton is someone I'd met on YouTube, and I've loved him ever since. He's a Jew. He's an atheist. That's that part I probably don't agree with, but I've learned a lot from him concerning relationship, and I've gone ahead to buy his book. Most of what I've learned from him on YouTube is summarized in this book, Relationships, the School of Life, that he runs. And this is coming from the book, from the video also. He says, love is a skill to be learned rather than just an emotion to be felt. Again, don't forget, we said pleasure and pain. You use them. Don't let them use you. A lot of people have failed in relationship because they're looking for a relationship that will give them pleasure. It's nothing like that in the real world. Nothing will always give you pleasure. The same thing that's giving you pleasure today will give you pain tomorrow, right? There's nothing like that. Don't forget, pain, pleasure are temporal. Same person that's giving you pain today could give you pleasure tomorrow. It might be a function of understanding that thing, right? So, but when it comes to relationship as a whole, it's not intuitive, right? It's not intuitive. Because you're human doesn't mean you know how to relate. Relationship is something we learn. Relationship as a whole, then relationship in different areas of our life are things that we'll learn, whether it be relationship with our spouse, emotional, romantic relationship with our children, with our parents, with our peers. It can get better. It can get better. And it's not intuitive. We have to learn it, right? We have to learn it. We can get better, right? We can get better. It's not intuitive, right? Relationship is not by instinct, because we think we're human beings. There's a way to relate with another human being, which you learn, right? It's not automatic, because what you think is right for you might not necessarily be right for that person. Both of you have come from different backgrounds, different experience, different history, so there are ways, there's a skill to relationship, right? And if you're socially fit, then you know that, and you're able to adapt all right. You don't take that for granted. Same thing when we talk about physical fitness, right? Physical fitness enables you to do things physically, right? I get to exercise, I get to do power training, and I love it because it affects the way I work. It also affects the things I can do. There's some things I can carry easily that some people will not be able to carry, and it did not come up and so on. It's because I carry dead weight. I get to carry dead weight. Those dead weight build my muscle and has increased the things I can carry with ease, because I do that in exercise. I can do that in reality. Same thing when it comes to social fitness. You have to learn, you have to practice how to relate with other people. First of all, it's a science and it's an art. There are ways of doing it, but even after you know all the ways of doing it, you will not get it until you do it, right? That's why it is an act, right? There are ways, there are boundary conditions, how to relate are right. But even after you fill your head with all of that, it will not be yours until you practice it, right? Because it is reality, right? There is a science to it, but there's also an act. It becomes yours as you exercise yourself in it, right? As you exercise yourself in it, you build your social fitness, you build your ability to create relationships and also to sustain existing relationships, right? Again, never let it control you. When you exercise yourself in it, then you are in control, right? You do things in measured way. There are people that don't want you to spend too much time with them. You must be able to read that, right? And know how to carry yourself. There are people that love to be hugged. There are people that don't like to be hugged. You know, but you're gonna that comes by learning. First of all, there's a science to it. You understand personalities, right? But then you have to exercise it also, right? So that all of that just saying around what Ellen de Botton said, that love is a skill, relationship is a skill, you know, social integration is a skill, right? And it's there to be learned, right? You learn the science and then practice it also so that you can then be skillful at it, right? It's a skill to be learned. It's not just an emotion to be felt, right? It's not just an emotion to be felt, right? The other side that Ellen goes on and says is that our error is to suppose that we are born knowing how to love, how to relate, that managing a relationship might therefore be intuitive and easy. It's not true. It's not. It's not. If you're grown up to any age, you know that. It's not. It's not. Right? If you've lived with anybody for any length of time, you know it's not. Right? And it's not just romantic relationship, it's relationship in every area of our lives, right? It's not intuitive. We got to learn it. We got to learn it. We got to learn it. We have to understand that some people are quiet, some people are noisy, right? Some people are introverts, some people are extroverts. You know, you have to understand different personality. What works for A doesn't work for B. What works for B doesn't work for C, right? You got to know that, and you have to practice it as you engage people, right? Even when you look at the Holy Book, the Bible says that do unto others as you will love them to do to you, right? Right, which is you want people to relate with you in certain ways because of who you are. That's the way you should relate with other people because of who they are, right? You gotta respect them, respect their person, respect their feedback also, respect their boundary conditions also, right? And this comes by learning. This comes by practice. You can get better at doing it, right? And that's the way you face life. That's the way you lean into life. You lean into life. You come into life to overcome, to thrive, right? To reign in it, to enjoy it, not to avoid it, right? There is a way to live. There is a way to relate. There is a way to walk. There is a science to it, but there also is an art to it. You have to practice. You have to make it yours. Make it yours, right? It's got to go from your head to your heart to become who you are, right? So that you can be socially fit, so that you can have the right social engagement in your life, right? We talked about loneliness, right? Loneliness is when you are not having the right social engagement in your life. And there are a lot of people that are lonely. Depression is an epidemic, that is kind of common around us today. Why? People don't know how to relate. People are not socially fit, especially now that we have the onset. People can have the excuse to spend time away from people. You will not know how to relate with other people until you relate. Same thing we talk about praying, right? There's a science to prayer. There's an art to prayer, right? You can learn all the things about prayer, how to fall and dive, all of that. But you're not going to become a prayer until you pray. You can know everything about relationship. You're not going to be socially fit until you relate. You can know everything about exercising, power training. You're not going to be physically fit until you practice it, you exercise it. Right? So it's an error to think that's intuitive. Social fitness is not intuitive. Being a friendly person is not intuitive. It comes from learning. It comes from practice. You have to learn, you have to practice for it to be yours, right? And that's where you lean into life. That's where you win in life, right? The biggest thing in life to making it in life, right, is the ability to relate with someone else, right? Probably about 10% of what makes you succeed in life or less, probably 4% of what makes you succeed in life is what you know. The remaining is your ability to relate with other people. Your ability to relate with other people. Where your certificate will not get you to, your ability to relate with other people will get you there. So they will call it emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not intuitive. It comes from learning and practice. Learning and practice. Learning and practice. You're not going to make it in life if you don't know how to relate with other people. Let's go on. So Ellen goes on and says that few things promise us greater happiness than our relationships, right? And this is the whole essence of this book, says that the way to get to live life to the optimum is by relationship. But the same relationship that gives us life also has pain. Also has pain. What gives us life also has pain. Our ability to go past the pain is what will give us the riches that it has inside of it. Remember, roses do have thorns. It's not that thorns have roses, but roses do have thorns, right? We don't go for the roses because of the thorns, but because of the roses that we want, we have to live with the thorns. Because of the pleasure, the life that we want from relationship, we have to endure the pain that it brings. And that pain is not to kill us. That pain is to make us, right? Our ability to master that pain is what gives us the reward, the pleasure, the life, the goodness, the fun, the beauty of knowing someone else, having someone who sees you, who knows you, right, and loves you and cares, right? That's what we're looking for. Something inside of us looking for someone who can see us. Can you see me? Can you see me? You know, the word intimacy, that's what it means. It says intimacy, right? And that's what it means to be intimate with anybody. It's not just the physical, but really intimacy is intimacy. So we're all looking for someone that can see us, someone that can hear us, someone that can care, someone that can love us, right? And then gonna come until you expose yourself to somebody. I mean, not naked, I mean socially, right? Socially, right? Relating with people. You have to step out. He that would have friends must show himself friendly. The easy way to have friends. Show yourself friendly. Step out and be a friend to somebody, right? That it comes with its risk, it comes with its price. But that's the way to live. But we gotta learn how to do it, and we have to practice it, right? There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it right. There's a way to do it wrong, right? To master it, to thrive in it, we have to understand that and use it, right? So, just like I said, pain and pleasure are natural motivators. By the virtue of the stream of life, sometimes we develop coping styles to these things, right? You know, the extreme of this is when people begin to then have dual personality, right? When people have dual personalities, it's an avoidance of pain that creates that. When someone goes through extreme pain, they seemingly imagine, they enter into themselves to be able to deflect that pain. And sometimes they create another personality just to be able to dissolve the pain, right? That's one way by which people get into that mental uh sickness condition of having dual personalities. It's always about pain. It's a deflection of the pain. You assume or create a personality in your mind that is able to then take that pain, right? And sometimes you do that so much that you lose yourself. That's probably some of the one of the reasons why people then cut themselves is because they internalize that situation so much, it deflect the pain, they lose the sense of feeling, right? So they cut themselves pretty much to say, I'm still alive, just to feel pain, just to feel again. Their sense of feeling has gone by the way they have the coping styles, the coping mechanism they've developed to seemingly run away from pain, right? You rarely do that for pleasure. It's pretty much pain that leads to that. And it's not necessarily physical pain, it's psychological pain, social pain, you know. Someone has disappointed you, someone has neglected you, you know, and things like that. Those are pain, psychological pain, social pain, and sometimes we develop a mechanism to cope with them, right? And sometimes it's okay if we develop it and we're in control of them, but it's not you could, but you have to be careful that you don't give it a life of its own.